Task Unit 2 bruiser. Probably, I don't know, maybe a month after I was there, Marc Lee was killed. He was the first SEAL killed in Iraq, and he was killed down in Ramadi, which was like 30 miles from us. And then, so we had worked that night as well, and I remember coming back, and I don't remember if I was on the op or if I stayed back, but I just remembered we just hot washed the trucks, brought them back, got them ready, because by that point we knew that one of our guys had been killed right down the road, and so we just regassed up the trucks, got them cleaned, and then we convoyed down to MSR Michigan to Ramadi for the memorial service. We held like a little memorial service there, and I remember kind of feeling like a fish out of water because I'd never met Marc, and he was a new guy like me. That was his first deployment, but I remember wanting to show respect, to the older guys and to his brothers who knew him. I mean, it was pretty crummy because not long after, I think it was Ryan Job was shot, I think in that same engagement, and he was shot in the face. And both of those were new guys. And so as a new guy, you're thinking to yourself, well, is it because they're not wired tight? Is it because they're not doing, why is it new guys that keep getting hit? And so you're running the math in your head. And it wasn't but maybe another month and a half later that Mikey Mansour in that same deployment was killed as well, another new guy. And so I just remember, thinking, hey, the odds are that it's going to be, if somebody gets killed in this unit, it's for whatever reason, it's going to be one of us.
Yeah.
But, and I know that that's silly, but you do start picking up on the trend, right? But yeah, I mean, it makes it really quick when guys at the team, are dying.
Yeah. So you wrapped up that deployment.
Yeah.
Actually, you know what? If you're willing to talk about it, what was that memorial like? Because I've heard of guys having Viking funerals out there on, in country, and if you don't, then that's perfectly fine.
Yeah, I just remember. All I can remember was an anxiety level because guys were pissed. Yeah. Guys were furious. And I'm like this new guy peon who just, wants to show respect and not, make anything about me, and just like head down, I remember, like I think I walked up to the casket or something, and we were supposed to do something, but I can't remember if we were supposed to salute it or what we were supposed to do. But somebody came up to me afterwards and had said something like I didn't show enough respect or something like that. And I was like, well, man, I apologize, dude. But it was one of those moments, I think, where guys are pissed off. They're looking to take it out on somebody. And when you're a new guy in the team, like you are a prime target. But I do remember they were playing music in the background, and one of the songs they played was "Crazy Game of Poker" by OAR. And I remember that because it was one of my favorite songs. But, I felt awful for Mark and his family. I knew that he was married at the time. And I felt awful for the other dudes that just lost their brother. And I felt awful that I'd never got a chance to meet him just because, I'd heard so many good things about him. One of the coolest things, because I've got a chance to become pretty close with Mark's mom, Debbie.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Mama Lee. She's an amazing woman, and she still does a lot today for the community. And one of the coolest things that I learned about Mark was that he would carry the 48 without a sling. And if you've ever carried a Mark 48 machine gun for longer than 5 minutes, you'll realize really quick that you want a sling on that thing.
Yeah.
Or to put the carrying handle like in your carabiner on your kit, but he wouldn't do it. Like, he was just a beast.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that made me respect him a lot.
He was my headmate in Buds when I showed up for a while.
Was he?
Yeah. He was really humble, cool guy to be around.
Was he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so you wrapped up that deployment. You come home, back with the wife.
Yeah.
How's that going?
It wasn't good. It wasn't good. And the biggest, I think one of the biggest reasons it wasn't good was because of immaturity, on both of our parts. But we had also just had, it's like pretty close after I got back. I got put into Chris Kyle's platoon immediately. And then during ULT, I think it was, we had our first kid. And so not only did I have Chris Kyle as my LPO, who loved to just hammer new guys, like he loved it. And so I had that going on at work every day, and then I'd come home and I had a newborn in my bedroom at night. And so you combine that with immaturity and two people that are trying to figure out how to be married and live together. It was just on top of, I would say some, extra stress that comes with that job. And, it was a combination for, I don't know what a good word is, maybe dysfunction.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's not like, I'm not saying it was always bad or anything like that, but one of the things, Shawn, that I want to do for the rest of my life, man, is I just want to try and bless other people and help other people, man, because when you front and when it's always a facade and you're always trying to put on this, like, oh, everything's hunky-dory all the time, you're not helping anybody.
Yeah.
And most of the people out there watching this right now, that's not their reality. They're struggling with something, and it took me and my wife a while, like, probably took 10 years before I felt like we had a good marriage.
Wow.
And I didn't know that would ever even, I was at the point where I didn't know that was even possible. Like, it was even in the cards for me. You know how you have a certain experience for even a year or two and you're like, oh, this is probably what it's going to be like. There's probably no changing this. Well, when you've been at something for 10 years and it's like, at best, good, most often it's mediocre. You're like, this is the ceiling. I mean, this is the reality. And so, yeah, I mean, at that point, it was tough because there were just a lot of brand new dad. I didn't even want to be a dad while I was in the military because I didn't want to be, I don't want to be away from my kids, and I didn't want to be an absentee father. So now we've got a newborn, sleeping in our room every night, go in, dealing with one of the biggest hazers known to man. And it was just like, talk about walking around on eggshells at work. I mean, I don't know what your platoons were like. I don't know what your new guy experience was like. But when, you know, I had buddies that we graduated that were a couple doors down in a different platoon, and they're like, nah, man, that's chill. You know, we don't get messed with much, and not us, bro.
Really?
Oh, dude, yeah. It was like we were always like watching each other's back. I mean, it was always like it's almost like you resume swim buddy rules. Like, hey, don't go in there without a swim buddy. You know, could get out of control quick. But you know, looking back on it, man, it was good in ways, just because what doesn't kill you makes you stronger.
Yeah.
You know? And,
what was he doing?
I mean, it was just like, you know, it was like there were a lot of rules, right? A lot of rules. Like I remember one of the rules was, you know, you have a crazy week, you know, training or whatever, and then you get to go home, spend time with your family on the weekends, right? But that not in my platoon, bro. Like the rule was you were supposed to be at any bar in San Diego within 20 minutes, ready to buy a beer, get choked out, and clean up puke out of the restroom. Like I remember and having like it didn't matter if you and your wife had like a date night and you guys needed some time. Date night? No. Get your ass down here. Be at Danny's in 15 minutes. And it was just like thankfully, because I had a newborn at home and Chris like was big on family, he let me off the hook more than the other guys. But because I was the only guy, there was only like I think 2 or 3 guys in that platoon that even had kids. So Chris did like, you know, he did give me a little leeway because I had a kid.
Nice.
Yeah.
Did you go to sniper school, that platoon?
Well, this gives me another great opportunity to talk about failure.
Perfect.
Yeah. So I did go to sniper school, but I didn't make it through sniper school. I made it through pick and then scout, and I didn't qualify with the M4.
Oh, okay.
And so you have to qualify expert to move on, and I didn't qualify. So that was hard because I came back and basically, you know, I had to tell Chris that, you know, that I'd let him down.
Wow.
Because I was the only one that he sent.
Oh, man.
Yeah. I mean, you can imagine.
Yeah. Especially of all the snipers out there to have to tell that to.
Yeah. Yeah.
Chris Kyle.
Yeah.
Damn.
It was rough, man.
Hey everybody, I'm Shawn Ryan. Click here to subscribe to the Shawn Ryan Show YouTube channel for the hottest and most compelling interviews that you will not see anywhere else. I've also made a playlist of all the previous SRS episodes so they're easy to find. You can find that right here.